to an issue Massachusetts voters will probably be asked to weigh in on this fall, balancing the humane treatment of farm animals and the cost of feeding a family. A likely ballot question asks in part whether egg-laying hens should be taken out of their cages and allowed to move around more freely, a change farmers say will increase costs. Stephanie Lydon explains what's at stake.
These 3-week-old chicks start their lives running free, but that will soon change. Here in the town of Wendell, 100 miles west of Boston, they are part of the only commercial egg operation in Massachusetts that keeps chickens in cages. They measure 12 by 18 inches, one for every chicken, nearly 3,000 in all. If the proposed ballot initiative goes through, these cages would be illegal because they don't allow the birds enough space to spread their wings.
You can tell that it's a healthy-looking bird.
Do you think it matters that it can't open its wings in the cage?
You know, the fact that they're not under stress, it doesn't seem to bother them.
Peter Diamond figures he knows more about chickens than most people. He spent his life on this farm, producing eggs in this same barn the same way his father did. And he says it's easy to tell his hens are okay. Just listen.
If the chickens were under stress conditions, you would not hear that sound. There'd probably just be silence.
So you think this is the sound of contentment?
I do.
But when I show video of Peter Diamond's chickens to Carter Luke, he hears and sees a need for something else.
My visceral reaction is, I'd like to see them with more space.
Luke runs the Massachusetts Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals, one of the organizations pushing for the ballot question that would ban these cages.
I think it's important for people to recognize that eggs do come from somewhere, and there's a consequence to the animal in terms of how it's raised.
Diamond Farm does have cage-free chickens. They're raised for meat. And Diamond says labor and those wood shavings on the ground make this method more expensive. But in a large-scale operation, he likes the cages for other reasons. The chickens and their eggs are off the ground, away from droppings. And the birds are separated. Diamond remembers the early days, before his dad began using cages.
Dad also used to run into cannibalism with the chickens picking at each other.
They'd actually kill each other?
Yeah, it didn't happen often, but I remember it happening a few times, and if you didn't get the chicken that was being picked on out of their area, they would actually pick on it to the point where they would actually kill it.
Massachusetts residents consume 150,000 eggs a day. Most of them, 99%, come from out of state. So the ballot question, banning these cages, would impact not only this farm, but farms across the country.
Stephanie Lydon joins me now. Hi, Stephanie. Before we get to
Tim.
why the 2 dozen eggs are here, we should make clear this question doesn't just apply to chicken, but to calves and...
That's right. Products that come from pigs in cages, so pork products.
Confined animals.
And yes,
Okay.
Confined animals, also veal, which comes from
We'll get to them in
calves.
some future show. So why are you bringing the 2 dozen
Okay,
eggs?
2 kinds of eggs. These are cage-free. These are not. Would you care to do a little prices right? How much do you think the cage-free
I know
sell for?
exactly, actually. Market basket, $189.
Very good.
And I'd say those are about $3.50 at Whole Foods.
Okay, went to Target, $4.29 for the cage-free. They're also organic. And the generics were $2.
Well,
so
that's
twice.
that's the primary argument against this. The argument is, there's a steep price to pay for being socially responsible. So how do the proponents of this thing answer that? What do they say?
Okay.
Get over it? Deal with it? I'm serious.
Well, the folks behind the ballot question say, what's it worth to treat animals humanely? You know, what does that mean? And they would argue that because these major retailers, Target, where I bought these eggs,
that's
Walmart,
amazing.
McDonald's, they're all going toward, they're not there yet, going toward cage-free eggs, so that will bring the price down.
Because they're buying such huge volumes.
That is the argument. Now, the producers and the trade groups who represent the farmers say, listen, it costs more to produce cage-free eggs, so that cost is going to get passed on to consumers. So there's really no clear answer at this point.
Well, you know this. I don't know if people at home, we did this on the radio the other day. The passions on this are really intense.
Absolutely.
Stephanie, thanks so much.
You're welcome.